incrementally, giving out 5s and 3s, and one year we split it up, give maybe the ambulance service, highway department 5, everybody else 3. I don't remember anybody thanking me for that. But anyway, the expectation's always going to be there. But we are the buffer between there and here. So
I'm gonna have to what you said, because I think no matter what we give them, as terrible as this is to say, the media says that inflation is at 8-9% right now, but if we're being completely honest, people, it's 12 and 13% on average. I mean, you're looking at 100% inflation on goods and services for inputs, on some inputs for farmers. You're looking at 40 and 50% inflation rates on, certain fuels and oils and gases and things like that. So even if we give these people a 5% raise, they're not going to feel that effect when inflation is at 8%. If you give them 3%, they're not going to feel it either.
Would you put your mic down?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
And so, I mean, in reality, when inflation's probably more realistically at 12 and 13%, and some things it's more like 100 to 200% inflation rate increase, the 5% or 3% or whatever we end up giving them, they're not going to feel it, because in essence, every single thing that is happening this year is overinflated. Health insurance costs are overinflated. Health care costs are overinflated. Food, gas, you name it, your utilities, everything is going up. It doesn't matter what we give them. It's not going to be, we cannot exceed that much. Like, there's no way. So I think just it's important to know as a council that you're going to have to find that balance, and no matter what we give them, unfortunately in this economy it's not going to be enough. And I hate saying that, but
that's true.
but it's true. And I've been saying for 2 years we're going to get to this point, and it's here. And I hate so much that I'm right, or that I've been right on that, because I worried about that for 2 years, and now it's here. And honestly, I don't know that it's going to be gone next year. I'm not optimistic that it will be gone by next year, but.
Let me ask you something. This morning, we had one of the workers at the clerk's office got COVID this week. According to the old guidelines, our rights, everybody needs to be quarantined if they wasn't vaccinated to send home. Now, that was one sickness in a short time. And that's what I was doing downstairs, trying to get that manipulated. But what do we do if we lose all these employees? And I did say Clark and Floyd, and like Todd says, we can't compare with Floyd and Clark, or even Harrison. We all know they got a lot more money. But at the same token, our officers do work around those same surrounding counties. And they see what the officers make. Yes, they can go to that, and some have over the past 10 years. But we still have to have officers. We seen this morning that food prices went up and nobody batted an eye for prisoners, because we got to feed them. I guess I don't know what I'm saying. We're fighting. We're not playing on the level playing field. No, and when like 9.1 is what you're saying, I agree with Karen. I think it's 12, 13%. Some have stated that. We can't buy our way out. We can't even salvage what we got. But we're on a fixed income, so we can only do so much. I agree with what you said. And then we're going to have to sustain what we do. And like Todd said, with the ARP money, or Rick, with the ARP money, it's a one-time deal. But I don't think this COVID's going away next year. What what they're projecting now, it's headed back. If it does, I don't know where we're gonna go. But our income level ain't gonna go up. And when I look at the prices of some of these, of what they make, and we put the money into it, how are we gonna sustain it if we go too much? But if you don't do it, you can't blame employees for leaving. And then how do we run it? We seen Rick project this year we're gonna be down blacktopping. We're not gonna get as much, but we still got 1,520 miles of roads. That's two sides. We all want good roads, we want good water, we want high-speed internet, we want the same thing at Floyd and Carpscott. It's just harder for us to afford it. Some people have the luxury, they own their own business, you can raise your prices to compensate for it. We can't.
The only problem is, you're your own business, you raise your prices,
Yeah.
and if you're a business, is not one heating a house or having a service-related deal, raise your price. If you ain't doing nothing, if it's $100 and you ain't selling it,
You price yourself out of the market.
you know. So, all I can say is, whoever decided that COVID would be a good idea to destroy the world, they were right.
Yeah, you're right, and I'd like to know who it was.
His last name starts with an F. Fauci.
That ain't the word I thought of.
Khrushchev said he'd take over the world,
For
never.
bar shot, if we didn't know it was gonna be about bug.
Okay, folks, we can elaborate all day. But long and short,
Where's the council at on a raise, on a percentage raise?
well, I'd leave, but I'm looking for somebody that's gonna be here next year. Step out.
I'd like to see numbers on 3%. And then look at between 3 and 5, and see what we can do.
I was leaning toward a stipend, but that's going to take away from water and other things that they're going to benefit from that.
Not all of those funds are obligated, even with those projects.
And the stipend at 800,000 was 4,000 for full-time and 2,000 for part-time.
Part-time of people working at least 20 hours a week,
Michelle,
no seasonal.
Ira,
And I'm hoping you're leaving those council members off of the stipend, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, because we don't need this today.
No.
will the state feel good about us if we call and try to find out, since I know we're just about a week away from having numbers for them, you know, to give us a rest. If we give them a call, and may not get an answer. But we can work on our decision. Don't forget it. Look at the information. Because we'll have it.
So you're not going to get a preservation, that's what you're.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no.
But I think I'm right in saying, wait a minute. I'm asking you something. You guys want to somewhere in here there's a list of time frames. See if you can find that time frame where we're doing things. If you guys shoot it, yeah, let's go to July. Should tell us when we get our limit.
August 17th. Now, I fully expect him to come out.
last of July.
I hope he wants.
Well, I think we have the last 2 or 3 years.
That sounds right.
But we can estimate our property tax collection from where we are now, what we can. But that's going to make up. And all the other, and they should have already given us our estimates on those miscellaneous taxes.
Yeah, that's what I just got the afternoon before this.
Okay.
Calculation.
Look at.
What are you gonna do next year without this guy?
Because they are on the DLGS side.
You do better off going 5% increase this year.
Okay.
What are you gonna do next year?
Hang on to
You
this
really
thing
have
for
to
another year.
feel for what
And what
we receive,
Then you're gonna have to
but,
you're making
keep
interest,
up with 5%.
you're making your interest.
but I know we're going to be
Make money off your interest when it's set in the bank.
500 to a million.
2%.
But here's my
It's
next
gonna help you next year. Now we
If
get you by
we
2
do
years.
this, and I'm going to stay with the 5, and when it's going to go backwards. You know, might give us enough room to see where you're at with next month. It's longer, because next year, you may not be able to anything, or you may be able to pull the trigger and keep moving.
He's gonna stand.
Politics change, economy breaks loose, inflation starts slowing down. You'll know more next year where you're at there. I'm not so much against keeping it to your reserve, 500 to a million, versus not doing something.
And figuring salary increases, I mean, I figured high on 5%. So if you're saying 3%, just back a couple $100,000 off that. If you say 1%, just back a little more
Yeah.
off that. I mean,
Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
That's what I put, but
I mean, I can sit down and figure them, but that's at least a
I'd be
day's
more
work.
interested having you guys work on how much revenue we
Yes,
must
exactly.
Increase this year.
Okay,
That's what the stipend is like.
I mean, the raises are at the
Next
top
year,
end
with
for last
these
year.
people,
The same thing.
I'm on that
We're
one.
back with us next year, at 3%. 2-year increase this year, not going bother the other. If you can keep your hands out and cook each other.
You want to see if
I'm just saying.
you want to, even,
What?
you want to see if you get a nod off that state
Run in there and leave.
with the commissioner's about 201.
Yeah. Yes, Bubba?
The ARP funds
Yes.
that we currently have,
Mm-hmm.
are those in the bank now drawing interest?
Yes.
How much interest are we drawing off of these?
I don't have that up here with me, but I can have it I can have
That makes sense.
it in the morning.
I fear that stipend is that if you take those funds away from, you're not gonna, you may not be able to sustain that next year in a stipend because they're gone, once they're gone.
Oh, yes. I mean, and not only that, but if there are any other projects that come to the ARP committee, those are gonna be, if we don't say we want this money held for a stipend, it will be obligated to another project.
Yeah, we'll,
Okay, well, when we begin to receive our sustainable money, it's drawing interest right now, too. It's in the bank,
right.
making money. When it comes out,
Yeah.
it quit making money.
Unfortunately, it's not making as much as inflation.
Oh, you don't think it is?
Well, it makes sense.
And it makes sense that they don't want
So,
Anyway.
so
It looks like Bill drew the short stick.
That's why I said at the end, but I forgot to tell.
It's a shirt.
If we go with the 5% increase this year, we know or the pandemic and all this is still gonna be around next year. If we have to, set on the ARC money this year. Don't do nothing with it. Because right now, if we throw the ARC money away with a 3% increase, you're not gonna gain your employees anything. Their insurance is going up too. If you do a 5% increase, set on the ARC money, we don't have to do nothing yet. Use it for reserve, we don't know what's gonna come about. We can hold it to 24. We will have some money to do something with next year. If you do a 3 and a 3 or what have you, and you give away your ARC money, next year, what are you gonna do? Because you ain't got nothing in reserve.
No, I think you know just as well as I do, that money will not be there if we don't make a decision to have that first stipend. Those projects are gonna come in and they'll be presented to the commissioners.
We can put it back and gain some interest off of it. We do know that.
I mean, I'm okay with us saying, let's do a stipend, hold it, the payout. Hold the payout until a certain point in time so we continue to gain that interest. But there are projects that, if there are a lot of projects in this community that if they know that our money is not being spent, will come. And those funds will get obligated.
Oh, that's a nervous point.
No,
I don't agree with that.
no.
Only if you agree to it.
Do what?
If you agree to it, they'll be.
Looks like I said, we got till 2024.
Yeah.
Spending.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we've had some projects, good projects on water, Posey Township right now.
Yeah.
East Washington Water's done an extension. Somebody else, Pekin, done an extension. And we've used some good projects there. But we still got to get through the times coming.
Oh, I know, that's what I'm saying, you're going to only have a lot more requests, and if there's not money set aside, if we want to do a stipend, if we feel like we're gonna try to do the best that we can to do an increase, in salaries, we're gonna do the best that we can.
I don't think we want to worry about this year as much as what we want to worry about next year. That's my feeling.
and as far as not being able to sit on the money, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you're wrong. We can sit on the money.
Right.
Do you wanna have a commitment saying that you will sit on the money, so that we know that it will be available?
You just did.
That's what I said.
I mean,
We've already put a halt to it, we're not
Before distribution.
doing anything with it for the time being.
This is what the county is getting.
So the next ARP committee will not be approving any more projects.
Right, that's my point.
not for a while. I mean, the only request we had really hasn't been, the last request we got was from Posey Township Water. And that's what we're sitting on right now, waiting on them to come with a final number. And we do feel like it is beneficial.
So you're saying 24, you can hold the money to
We
24
can hold the money.
January or
Do you
December?
have any?
We can hold the money till 24, the project has to be completed by 26.
So at the end of 24 and at the end of 26, that's why I was gonna say, I didn't know if it was January or December.
24.
Okay,
Let's look at.
so at the end of
If
24,
we set on that money, and some counties are doing
See
it,
how much it's going.
they haven't spent nothing.
well, they're just drawing interest,
That's
yeah.
exactly right.
Okay,
And they're making money on their money, and give to them.
Well, the safe way about that would be then, is that they couldn't really act on any of that money until after the budget hearings next year. Is that fair to say?
Starting,
Fair to say?
you know,
Because if they don't spend any of the money until after the budget hearings next year, they have to hold on to it, and we'll figure out where we're at next year.
Then you can see in the budget next year.
That's what I'm saying, that'll give us the whole year to get the percentages, and then that's our money's there.
at least a little more.
That's assuming that it's not going to be spent on something else.
That's what I'm saying, that would be the commitment, that's
You're making money off of it, and that's one of the best sources we've got right now.
Well, sure, yes.
Budget time next year.
what I'm saying, that would be the agreement.
I'd like one real, legitimate agreement commitment.
So, are the commissioners not on board with what we're proposing?
It sounds like they're on board the stipend in another year, not this year.
What we're saying is set on the money this year, wait till next year's budget.
Yeah, I've heard that one. My point is, I thought we was going to look at doing the 5, not worry about the stipend.
Yeah,
Let's talk what he said.
yeah.
this year, see how that goes, are preserved or sustainable. If it comes to next year, that's the backup from those funds to keep something going.
That's what we suggested. I
I'm saying
suggested
that's
not
just
spend
okay.
money until after budgets next year, that way it holds it for us in case we need it. And it's drawn interest for a year,
They
so
can
yeah.
do that. I heard you say something, do you know if they decided tomorrow to put that money in a non-reverting fund, like New Albany did, we don't have a say in it any longer. You know it? Pull up the headlines, pull up reverting funds, read what New Albany did.
I don't know that I would.
May I ask a question? So like when you guys were talking about the water issues and stuff, has any of the art issues with regards to water been approached as far as fixing the brown water issue in the city itself? Because I know that
They got their own art money.
they got their own,
Yeah.
so there's no chance they would come back to you guys and say, hey, we gotta do something to help? Because I know there's the septic issues and the sewer issues out, you know, on the south, you know, east side of town and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they've invested all of their federal dollars into infrastructure.
Okay.
That's where all.
I just didn't want them to come back and surprise the commissioners with, oh, by the way, we're gonna need some of your money now to fix this too.
But they did, I mean, they didn't get it, you know, near as much as what we did, but they are investing it in infrastructure.
Because I know some of the restaurants here on the square, you couldn't even get water because it was too dirty and they weren't allowed to serve it to people. So,
So they, and I, yes, I'm in favor of that.
Have we got a plan then that we proceed with thinking about doing the fund?
Yes,
Don't do any stipend, all the money.
draw interest
For all interest.
for a year.
We might need it next year for that.
Go ahead, finish your thought, Ben. Ben has the floor.
You guys have a chance, one more year down the road. Michelle's working to put together some estimated revenue for us. So we can look at that in relationship to where we're going to be spending, see what's shortfall, see how much we're going backwards. But that gives you one more year to find out where the economy's at, where the inflation's at. If politics change, does that open up a mindset for people start moving money again? You know, legitimately looking at, not the damage that 1.6 trillion will stop when 1.6 trillion gets absorbed. Please, Mr. Manchin, don't embark that. Yeah. But anyway, consensus-wise, you guys good with that thought? Then I say that's the way we approach it. We get through tomorrow, get your plan of attack on the ambulance service, what we're going to do there. And of course, we got solid waste and building commissioner. But solid waste, we've already done the damage for them out of their funds.
Yeah, it should be,
Yeah, out of pension funds, I mean, or somebody's share. So that gives us one more year down the road. And that's,
I agree.
so after we get through with the other people tomorrow, we can kind of say this for when we're ready.
Sounds good to me. The rest of the council?
So what's the game plan? Just to go with 5 for now.
Go with the five, see how much damage it does to us. You know, one more year, we know it's gonna do some damage, but you got 6. I was good for these at four. So here's my deal. Here's another year down the road. See where the economy's at. We're making decisions that we can become more known and better. That's all we can do.
And we proposed for that floor at this end.
Well, we all know it's, shocking.
It's inevitable that we're gonna have to do something. Now, with all the tax caps that were put in place years ago, it's a moving target.
For these 2 years,
Yeah,
from zero.
they're gonna have to, yeah, they're gonna have to do something.
So anyway,
Because we're not the only one that's in this budget.
well,
I would venture to say 60-70%.
yeah. But anyway, that puts you guys on a pretty solid ground. Like that.
So 5%?
Yes.
Yes. 20,000 a year.
I'm good with that.
That's trying to sell two birds. Satisfied, probably satisfied. This employees, they may not be happy. But we got something.
Yes.
So I'll go. With that, I'll go home and take it out.
Teresa, with that, I think we are good for this stuff. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Michelle, what time do we need to be here?
8.
Okay, see you all at 8 a.m.